Okay guys, today's video is about DTG printing process. The step by step, I'll try to do as detailed as possible. Okay, from graphic labs to pre-treatment to printing and then to curing. Okay, all the steps I'll share to you, our settings, and then the method we use, and then the selections of fabrics, and any tips that I can think of while I'm doing the printing. Very first thing you need to consider is the fabric selection. Fabric is very important because certain brands will not print very well, and then there are a lot of factors to consider. I recommend you to try a different brands and then pick the one best for your business. In our case, we picked Gildan Premium Cotton because of the stock availability and then the variations, different thickness, and then inclusive of a hoodie, polo, so we don't have like to deal with a lot of different supplier. Reason why I ask you to select certain brands to print, because you have a lesser risk of rejection because you are printing on a daily basis. So if there's something wrong with the brand, the t-shirts, you may know, then you know how to like tackle the problems. Now moving on to the t-shirt selection. Okay, the thicker one you may require more pre-treatment, so that from there you know your costing. And then the thicker one you may need more highlight as well. It depends. That's why I say you need to test. Okay, find your sweet spots. Hoodie or polo may require maybe one level higher of highlight, the white highlight. Okay, for our case, the normal one, very commonly used one is the Gildan. Gildan is this one. The weaves is a bit hard and rough, therefore you may require more pre-treatment than usual. Right, and then other fabric, the smoother one, the weaves is a bit smoother and then softer fabric. That one it will print very well, but then the washability is not that good because it's highly stretchable. Therefore your ink may crack in between. Okay, and then Gildan, it will sit very well, but then if you don't add more highlight or pre-treatment, you can see the fabric color. See, I hope you can see that. Yeah, you can see the fabric color. It looks like dotted one. This one we use eco mode. Okay, because this one we use eco mode just to show you how it looks like with the lesser inks and pre-treatment. Okay, so now you're limiting yourself to certain brands, so you have a lesser headache. You just need to deal with like fibers, your dust, maybe your temperature, humidity. And then you don't have to deal with different brands, different thickness, the weaves. Okay, and then your dealers maybe in your local area, the stock availability, right? And some certain brands they apply wax to their t-shirts just to look glossier, a bit more attractive. So then the first impression is very good, and then people will buy. Once you print with the DTG, the pre-treatment doesn't sit very well, the ink doesn't sit very well. Even though it looks very good, it's easier to print, it will look very solid. But then after you wash, it will completely become very dull. Some may crack and then some may peel off. So that one you need to be very, very careful. Okay, so regarding the material, the easiest to print is 100% cotton. Okay, the very common one is 70-30, which is 70 cotton, 30 polyester. That one is quite common. Okay, if you the polyester content is higher, then you need to be aware of the dye migration. You need to adjust your temperature, the time. Otherwise, you have a dye migration issue, especially the hoodie, the 50-50 blend. That one you need to be extra careful. Right, enough of the fabric selection. Now let's get to the software setting first. Graphic labs. Okay, first up we're gonna open the AI. Then okay, I'll put this artwork. Okay, this one is our client artwork, no copyright issue. Right, so the artboard is a A4 size. Okay, right, this one is a A4 size. You can make A3 size according to your clients, the printing, the size they want. Okay, so I'm gonna resize now to A4. Okay, please be careful when you have a artwork with a black background. You need to take the eyedropper tools. Okay, eyedrop tool. Right, you need to check the black color. Okay, you check the black color, open up the color chart. If it's not 100% black, the 100% black code, which means all 6 digits are zeros, right? If it's not pure black, then maybe your your printer will print like a dark gray color. You will spray a bit of a white, so you can see a box there. This one you need to be very careful. So maybe then you can adjust the contrast, or maybe you can throw this in Photoshop, and then try to like brush off the side using the gradient tool. Okay, so it doesn't have the square feeling, the looks. So now we're gonna draw a guideline because I cannot see the artboard. Alright, this is a okay. Press Ctrl 5. Okay, I'm not going to teach you how to use the AI because it's this one. Everyone have their own method. Maybe you're not using the AI software. I'm trying to like trying to resize everything here, and then the job is just to drag and drop into the graphic labs. I don't have to adjust the size in graphic labs anymore. Okay, and I'm not going to knock out the black, so this one it will definitely spray a bit of the white mist, and then it will look a box here, right? And now the next thing is to okay, adjust the size. I'm going to put it on top, the very top. Then I'm gonna adjust the gap using the platen and by pulling the t-shirts. So now I'm gonna export as a PNG. Okay, name it Tongue of Fire. One thing you need to check is the use artboard, so then it will save as a A4, not according to the artwork. Alright, now you press export. Make sure it's the highest quality, 300 ppi, and then okay. Okay, so now moving on to graphics lab. I'm using the latest version, so let's change the preview to black first, and then I'm gonna drag and drop here. So in this case, if you just drag and drop, it will automatically centered here. So if you resize, then you need to like press this button again to align center. I don't usually resize here. Everything is done at the AI there, because if you resize here, it will get pixelated. Right. Okay, now just moving on, and then press print. Okay, there will be a few types of printer here. If you have a USB connected to your printer, you can send directly to your printer, and then at this moment the file output is a GTX Pro. If you have a GTX old model driver installed, you can actually select that. Okay, the old model you can use on Pro, but then the Pro model, the Pro file you cannot use on the old models. Okay, and then you can save your presets here by using this button, save preset, and then name them. Okay, in this case we are going to print the black tea, right? So I'll just show you the settings. Okay, we just use the default setting only, which is color plus white, and then mode just normal. Eco mode will use less ink, but then it's not recommended. Okay, unless the artwork is like more vintage styles. Okay, so in this case we use normal, and then this one for black tea, you can knock out the black, it won't print the black color. Okay, this one you need to be very careful, because if you are printing on color tea, then you may miss out. Okay, by ticking this, and then it won't print black, it will look very weird. So for color tea, you need to untick this. Okay, so now we are printing black tea, I need to tick this. And then for color multiple pass printing, we always tick this. Okay, no matter the colors of the t-shirts. Right, the setting we use highlight 5 and then mask 3. This is a very standard setting. Okay, for hoodie, polo, or certain thicker fabric, or maybe higher poly content, then we'll bump up extra one level to 6. But then actually this one we just use the default setting for most of our t-shirts. Okay, the main thing you need to the most important thing is the pretreatment. If you get your pretreatment right, then this one default setting will look very nice already. Okay, for fast print, I don't usually tick because I don't use Pro that often, but in this case I'll tick that. Okay, and then these are the black setting, you can save it, black t-shirt settings. Okay, I'll show you color tee. It's actually pretty much the same, except this one is untick. And then for white tee, okay, it's a default setting as well, with this one color multiple pass printing, tick. Okay, now I'm gonna choose black tea in this case, and then press print. Okay, converting, let's see the preview. So to preview the white ink, this is the consumption of the white ink, this is the consumption of the color ink. You add up together and then you multiply by your costing. You will get the costing for this artwork. Okay, then save it. Okay, this is the ARXP, which stands for Pro. If the old model, it will become ARX4. So ARX4 can be used on Pro, but then ARXP you cannot be used on the old models. So I'm gonna save this. Oh, I saved earlier, so just replace, and there you go. And then I shut off this. I have the file here. I'll keep it as a record in case the client wants to repeat order in the future. So this one we usually will save it. We'll keep this file. Okay, so this is a Gildan Premium Cotton, and then this is a 180 GSM and the ring spun cotton. And now we're gonna put here to do the treatment. Okay, the width is 14 inches and then the length is 20 inches, this one. So I'm gonna do it full, even though I'm just printing A4, I'm gonna do full to see how much treatment we use. So in this case, for Gildan, as I said earlier, you need more treatment. So usually we will use level 3. Less means more treatment, higher means less treatment because it will travel faster, right? So this one, we'll find out how many GSM, how many grams for the treatment. Alright, so it's done with the treatment. And then yeah, one thing you need to be careful is if your t-shirt is put too long, whether on a table or anywhere, if you put too long, you need the sticker, you need to like remove the fibers or dust or any dirt, right? Then only you do treatment. So now in this case, we are going to like brush one direction because the treatment is not laid down evenly, properly. So we'll use the brush. See, come closer, come closer. See, it will look a bit more even, okay, more smooth as compared to if you don't brush. See, the treatment, the mist is still sitting on top, it's not absorbed into it, so you will get like uneven prints or not so solid prints. So yeah, we need to brush one direction. And of course, this one I think I explained in my other video. You need to brush one direction, you don't go and brush up and down because the fiber needs to be laid down on one side. Once you press, the fibers will be, everything will be laid down on one side. Okay, one direction. Right, so now brush, brush, brush. Alright, and now we're gonna weigh it. Okay, so now the t-shirt is at 160 grams. Now this one is pre-treated already. Okay, it's safe to say that this is 30 grams of pre-treatment. Yeah, 30 grams. Right? 30 grams is at the cube, level 3. If level 7, just now I tried, is 20 grams. So it's 10 grams different in between 3 to 7. Alright? Okay, so now after brushing and all, I'm gonna do heat press. Okay, it's better if you have the heat press that you can thread in. You can thread in, and then you have this cover, Teflon cover, because if you just use the silicone mat, okay, if you just use the silicone mat, there will be too much grip. Okay, it's not productive to do your work. This is much faster. Okay, it doesn't have any grip. And we just use Teflon to cover. This one is a non-breathable Teflon. And the setting we use is 180 Celsius. 180 Celsius at 60 seconds. Medium high pressure. Okay. The recommended one is 35 seconds. According to the cookbook, it's 35 seconds for the drying time. But then we find it's not enough. It's not sufficient to dry out the Gildan because it's a thicker material, and then we apply much more pre-treatment. Right. So let's wait for it to dry, and then we'll go on for the printing. Okay, once you heat press, it is best that you print immediately. Okay, right, and then this the one I mentioned earlier, you put the artwork to the top, to the very top, and then you adjust the gap based on this frame. Okay, for this frame is 4 inches. So if you want 4 inches, it will be right on. Just pull until here. That's all. This will be 4 inches gap. Okay, then you need to like push out the air inside. Okay, push out the air inside. So then when you're printing, okay, the t-shirt doesn't move because it sticks to the grip. Okay, if it moves, then you will get a misaligned, like white come out of the CMYK print. Okay, then you need to like make sure that the platen is at the very top for t-shirt. Okay, and then we always put a ruler here, so easier for you to do measurement, or sometimes if there's something coming up, you can block it with a steel ruler. This is a very useful tool. And then I think that's about it. Yes, print. Okay. Yeah, okay. So now it's printed, looking good, the colors. So whenever you just print, the color will look very vibrant because it's still wet. Okay, once you cure, it will look slightly dull unless you use a dryer, but not everyone have a dryer here, especially in Asia. They use a heat press because of budget problems. And then regarding the problem I mentioned earlier, if this background is not pure black, which is 6 digits of 0, then it will spray a bit of a white, looking like, you know, to represent a dark gray color. Then you can see very clearly there's a box. So if in case you missed out this kind of artwork, then what we do is we'll rub off the sides, so it doesn't look like too square, you know. It look a bit like a gradient tone, not too square. But it depends on how dark it is. Sometimes you cannot avoid this kind of problem. Yeah, you still can see the square box. Maybe I wait a little too long. I should have just now rub it once it's coming out. Okay, so never mind. We go and do the heat press. So if you don't want to miss the, you know, this kind of vibrant color, then maybe you can do a hover first. You can hover a while. And for curing, we use this heat press. Alright. So maybe if you have polyester content, then you want to avoid dye migration, it's best that you hover for a while. Okay, hover first. Hover for maybe like 30 seconds or 40 seconds, then only you press for say 20 seconds. It depends. Sometimes past 15 seconds you have a dye migration already, and then the color will become slightly dull. Of course, we don't use this Teflon. This Teflon is not breathable. Okay, this type of Teflon is a breathable one. Same like the one you use like craft paper, parchment paper, you will get the matte look of the printing. Okay, for this case, we don't use a heavy pressure. Just use a very light pressure. Just slightly touching it only. This one we are curing at 170 Celsius and 40 seconds. Of course, according to the cookbook, you can actually cure at 35 seconds. So we don't really follow the cookbook. So let's wait for it, and I'll show you the sample later. Okay, so this is the result. Looking good. Color quite vibrant. The red quite solid. See the whites. The white is quite solid. Okay. Okay, so we are done with everything. Let's see the result here. Yes, you can see there's some stain here. Some stain, if you can see it. Okay, not so obvious on black color, but then it's quite obvious on grey or red color t-shirt. So then you need to like hover for a bit longer when you're drying the bitumen or when you're curing. you need to hover a bit longer, otherwise you get a like pretreatment stain, a box there. And then lessen the pressure, the time, and the temperature. This one you need to find a sweet spot for yourself. Okay, especially for white tee, you need to reduce the temperature to 160 maybe, and then press. You can press several times, maybe 20 seconds, 2 times, or you can like press 30 seconds straight away. But then it will turn a bit yellowish depending on the fabric as well. So the purpose of this video is for beginners or for my client who just bought a GTX printer, and then so you can go through the step by step, the method I use. Okay, the Brother pretreatment I use, the ratio is a 1 pretreatment and then 1.5 tap water only, not distilled water. So you can do your own. You can use distilled water. It is recommended to use this distilled water. Alright, and then if you're advanced user, then maybe this video will be boring for you, or maybe you can find tips here. Okay, so good luck with your printing, and then if you have anything you want to ask, you can drop a comment section below. Okay, I'll answer you if I have free time. Okay, see you again.